Please welcome everyone, Bryan Sklover. Well, it's nice to have you here at Rowan and our sports communication media program. We've talked about it. You visited the Delaware Bluecoats, and saw our students in action. Right, some of them are right here in the audience now.
Awesome.
What was that experience like, watching what our students are doing?
It was real fantastic. I mean, when you obviously we're thinking about our game nights, but we're thinking about game nights in a year, 2 years, 3 years from now. So to see young people so engaged, so understanding of the importance of game presentation, game production, and things like that, I thought that was a real special thing to see. And I mean, real impressive students that you have here too.
Good. So we're glad you're here to be able to see them firsthand. All right, let's talk about how hockey returned to Trenton. And in the ECHL, which is the East Coast Hockey League, how did hockey return to Trenton?
I think, if you're a hockey fan, you're right in the middle of, in Trenton at least, you're in the middle of 4 NHL teams within 2 hours, which is huge. Flyers, obviously, 45 minutes one way. Devils, about an hour the other way. Another 10 minutes to the Rangers, another 20 minutes to the Islanders. And then not to count the minor league teams that are in Pennsylvania, at least, in the AHL. So, big hockey-rich area, which was exciting for our president, Bob Arablo. This is the 4th team that Bob has started, all hockey teams, and Bob has history in the NHL and the partnership side with the Florida Panthers, and then the Syracuse Crunch of the AHL, several other teams as well. So Bob had identified this market as a good place to be. The ECHL's home office is in Shrewsbury, which is only about 45 minutes from us also, so they were really eager to get hockey back to the area. But what's really exciting for Bob and I is the other teams that he started were in Orlando and Jacksonville and Savannah, Georgia. And wildly successful teams, still benchmarks for the ECHL as far as the branding and the game experience, and what we did in Savannah we're very proud of. We're real excited to do hockey in a place we don't have to teach hockey. So the area had been waiting for it for a long time. Same arena. Got about $4.5 million of upgrades that are going into it. Getting a new dashboard system, new glass, new scoreboard, which is what's real exciting to me. Give me all the gray space I can find, and then we can, make that building come alive. So we knew there was a need for hockey. We knew there was a want for more hockey. The NHL is an expensive ticket, just like the NBA is, and the NFL and the MLB. So the opportunity to bring family affordable entertainment, which is what the ECHL is all about, and then also delivering an experiential product that we know we're capable of, was something that really excited us, and it's shown to excite the region too. We're at 1,400 season memberships, which was our May goal, and we're already there in the first week of April, so it's real exciting and ahead of the ball, ahead of the curve, I should say. And we're just excited for announcing our affiliate and bringing hockey back to the area, announcing our first player, first coach. Obviously releasing the brand and putting the brand together was a real exciting process. Something that you're hoping that people like it, and you're. So I'm glad that you shared that I come from radio, because I may give some unprofessional seeming kind of direction, but I'm a radio guy first. I was game presentation and production second, and I'm sure we all know their language. I don't know if you can throw the language around the control room at the college level, as you'll hear in the pros when you continue your careers. But I told Bob that this branding has to be badass. It has to be Jersey. It has to be really cool. Some of the more recent teams in minor league sports will say they kind of get, I'm going to throw a term out there that I'm sure we'll circle back around, and you saw it in our video, but AI takes over a lot of logos. Our logo is not AI created. I have the artwork, I have the AI files, Adobe Illustrator that I could show you if you'd like to see, but so many teams are steering into AI that we couldn't do that. We needed to be badass, we needed to be Jersey, we needed to be really cool, because that's what we had in Savannah with the Ghost Pirates. We had just killer branding, and that just kind of made a life of its own. So I'm also going to get really long-winded tonight.
No,
that's my radio days coming back.
But here's the one thing, and they're going to have plenty of questions for you, but the one thing that I think is important for them to understand, and we've seen it with the Delaware Bluecoats, we've seen it with the Wilmington Blue-Hawks, we have these partnerships, and that is the importance of getting them out there to experience working in the minor leagues, where you get your hands dirty in a lot of different areas. It's not just one area. You might be doing this, but you're going to be doing a lot of other things while you're there. You do the same thing. You wear many
Yeah.
hats when you're in the building.
I
But
do.
for them, I think working in minor league sports is phenomenal way to learn.
It surely is, for a number of reasons. I think right from the top, your students and your young professionals, looking to grow a career, and you need to make mistakes. So if the platform that you're on is more receiving of mistakes and more in a landscape where you can learn from your mistakes, it's just going to make you feel more comfortable with making a mistake and learning from it. I use the term blowing up a rocket pretty often. That was one of the things I got into when I was in Florida, big space nerd. So if you watch the space program and you follow SpaceX, for instance, like they blew up a whole hell of a lot of rockets before they got it right, and now they can launch with their eyes closed. So a little bit different of a landscape, launching rockets to, playing a video that was not supposed to be, or the audio's not playing, but you're in an environment where you can make a mistake. And I think it's important to be able to be of the mindset that you are okay to make a mistake, but you're not going to make that same mistake twice. And that comes with, it's okay if you make a mistake. It's okay if we're going to learn from it. If you make the same mistakes repeatedly, that's where issues start to come. And that's when you're at the minor league, there's less of a, less impactful if there's a mistake that's made. So that's the start. The other opportunity is just to find what you really have a passion for and what you really enjoy in a production flow. So I had a kid in Savannah who went to SCAD. I'm not sure if you're familiar with that, Savannah College of Art and Design. Wanted to be a filmmaker, loved the Carolina Hurricanes, wooed me with a hype video that he made when he was, in his freshman year of school. And he came in with our first season in Savannah, started making videos that played in game, really got excited about it, realized that, he could make hype videos, but he also was our stage director. And he was also, pulling different things into our game, finding contestants for this and that. And he was in my ear the whole time, or I was in his ear the whole time, so he was able to absorb the directing of the whole thing. And then he came to realize one day, wait a minute, I'm making these videos and they're being played on that big giant scoreboard, and I want to know how that scoreboard works. Daktronics has hundreds of hours of tutorials on YouTube. He went on there, he started teaching me stuff the next day, but he found something he had a passion for, and he took his own kind of initiative to learn more, which is something that just comes with, if you're a music fan, like my first foray in sports was DJing hockey games. I love music. Radio was my first career. I gravitated to that, and I learned that. And sitting down, setting cue points for hours doesn't bother me. It might bother some others who don't have an interest for it. So you're really able to find what you really, really, really like and really, really have a passion for, and then it all comes a little bit easier, I think, at that point.
Yeah, and then, the thing that you love now is game presentation, which we talked a little bit last week about game presentation with our guests, and it's just an area that I feel is like growing immensely
100%.
within the industry. True?
Oh, 100%. The game presentation, this is my mentor, one of my mentors at Tampa, John Franzone. He's the SVP of SVP of game presentation for the Tampa Bay Lightning. I think one of his, Tina DeVillio, who used to be in Tampa, she's with the Flyers now, doing game presentation there. And all of us that learned from John just learned a little bit more than a lot of the other rinks, whereas we understand that it's a performance and a show that we're putting on. He would always tell us that the game is the ultimate manifestation of your brand. That's where your brand comes alive. It's not on a t-shirt. It's not on a social media video. When you think of your favorite team, what's the first thing you think of? Their games. So those games have to be ultimately a fully immersible kind of a feeling, just like Disney World. You walk into Disney, as soon as you pull in the parking lot, the experience begins, let alone when you get to the front gates and you meet the characters and things like that. On the minor league level, it's even more important because we're not afforded multi-million-dollar athletes to market. So our experience and what we're, having people visit with their kids and with their entertainment dollar, that's the most important thing for us to have success. And I say this very humbly, but I know that it's true. But in Savannah, we had 2 games sold out before we hit the season. After our 5th game, every single ticket that was available for the rest of the games sold out. We ended up selling out 70 of our 73 games in the first 2 seasons. And we were getting shellacked on a Thursday night. And it was beer night, so people are having fun, but we were getting hosed 8-1. And people were staying in the building till the last horn. But we were hitting them with dance tracks and fan cams and having the mascot do bits and all this other kind of stuff. The show doesn't end because the team's not doing well. It's got to be a fun experience for people so they can justify spending the money.
So that's a little bit of background about Bryan, about what he's doing, about Trenton, and about the Ironhawks, about what they're doing. How many of you love hockey? How many of you are big hockey fans that are here? Okay, so we have our hockey fans. How many of you have interest in production, game presentation, that area? So you see we're hitting kind of different areas about what the students have interest in. Yeah. So let's go with whatever questions you have. Who would like to go first?
What's your advice for like people who want to go to like sports marketing and stuff, or like just in general with sports marketing?
I think that's a super 360 big question, because there's so many areas within that. And that's the importance of an internship, is to understand what sports marketing really is. So what I would normally ask in an interview, what do you want to do? Sports marketing is so big. Do you want to contemplate where media buys go and plan commercials for radio? Do you want to do social media? Do you want to spearhead community events? There's so many different things that fall under marketing. I think you have to, that's what an internship is so great for, because you really go in and learn what every area does in an environment where you wear many hats. And then you go to the Tampa Bay Lightning, where there's 12 graphic designers as opposed to just one, or numerous people that are doing the media buys and doing the graphics for print ads and stuff like that. So I think really ultimately, just understanding what exactly it is that you want to do, so that you can continue past the just wondering how to get in and finding the channel that you really want to continue to learn with.
Hockey fans, how many of you have been to an ECHL game? Anybody? All right, what are they going to expect if they see an ECHL game?
It's a lot of fun. It's a very fast sport. It's a great developmental league. We have a lot of good young kids that are playing a really good quality of game. We're able to go off the rails a little bit because we're not marketing those multi-million-dollar athletes. So the fun in the games and the things that are happening between the whistles, anything to make it not just a hockey game. Intermissions are fully packed with entertainment. We have 3 to 5 minutes on the ice before the Zambonis come out. So we're going to use those 3 to 5 minutes, but then we're going to turn your attention to an activation deck. And that's something that came after COVID. I think that's something that's interesting in my career path. COVID took me away from radio and got me into game presentation fully. So I had DJ'd a couple of games for the Tampa Bay Lightning in January of 2020. It was really exciting to work NHL games and to be in the big house and just live in that environment. And then COVID hit and everything shut down. And then I got an opportunity to work for the Toronto Raptors when they played their season in Tampa, and I ran the artificial crowd sound, so the fake crowd noise, which was really wild because it was something that didn't exist like 3 to 5 months before that, and now thank God we don't have to have that. We have fans back in seats, but through COVID, the reason I'm bringing that up, a lot of teams pivoted how they present their in-game presentation, and they started utilizing the production that they had in-house. So there was a stage or an activation deck, which is something that really wasn't there in a lot of arenas. They were just, that was seat inventory that went away. But the presentation was so important. We had to have an area where we could set up the backdrop. We could have, honor our hometown hero or our teacher of the game, and then we could do, puck shuffle or any of that other kind of stuff. So COVID kind of changed that a lot, and now we have a stage just like any other kind of arena. Last week I was traveling. I went to Buffalo, and they have a full band that plays in the intermissions, which is a bummer because I wanted to be the first to do it. A lot of teams are doing it now, having live music integrated. I think the Devils are doing it. I was at a OHL game, which is Canadian Juniors in St. Catharines at Niagara. They had a band playing in the intermission. And again, it doesn't have to be in the bowl. We can still take that performance and put it on the screen, have the music live, and create the environment that we want. But what was the question again?
No, now it's up to your job to come up with a new idea that doesn't have a band to associate.
Exactly.
You got to come up with a new idea.
Exactly.
All right, other questions right here. Let's go right here. Nick, go ahead.
How are you guys looking to advertise to fans in the area to generate interest after not having a team for the last 10 years?
Yeah, so we rely a lot on word of mouth, first of all. Second of all, you can't work in this business or be in this business and expect entitlements, ever. You have to constantly win the community over. And unfortunately, the teams that were in Trenton, after the first 5, 6, 7 years of the Titans was fantastic. They won the Kelly Cup on the ice in Cure Arena, which was a very exciting memory that we're excited to preserve. A lot of good memories from the early times, but then the team changed ownership. They forgot about the community, and then it changed ownership again. A lot of sour taste in a lot of the people's mouths. Some people were, say, cheated out of money. We were not related to that organization by any stretch. I just want to make sure to say. But it's our responsibility to fix that problem and convince people, and not just convince, but show them real time. We're not like that. We're a highly professional organization. Our president has done this 4 times over. The building is filled with people that know what they're doing. It's weird to say it about myself, but I know what I'll bring to the table and lead our team into for a game presentation. And we've hit the streets and been in the community. We're in St. Patrick's Day Parade. We're going on road trips to Reading with our fans. So really a lot of the promotion right now is hand to hand, getting to meet people, shaking their hands, asking them about their history, their excitement, and then, like I said, just taking the time to speak to them, hear them out, and let them know that this is going to be something worth being a part of. Because if they're not in with it now, again, we're planning for those first 5 games to set the tone for the rest of the year, and then everybody, even people who are convinced that we have an AI logo or convinced that the Titans are the worst, and we're going to be the worst. They're going to see, and we have the patience to see it out. The more career-centric answer, right now it's a lot of grassroots stuff. We don't really have a big spend budget for TV or for radio. I don't know that it's necessary for us right now. Being in radio, I understand how radio works and radio advertising, so we don't really have a budget to run 6 weeks worth of radio spots at the frequency we need it to resonate to people. But we're also in such a populated area that we're at 1,400, 15 miles from our arena. We haven't even gone into the Brunswicks. We haven't even gone to the Mount Laurels. We haven't gotten down to this area, which we'll start doing when we do single game tickets. We have to also be realistic, and we're going to play 36 games. Right now, the only product that we have is a full season membership or half season membership, and we have to just be conscious of who we think would come out for 36 games. It's kind of hard to drive an hour on a Tuesday or a Wednesday or even a Thursday for a minor league hockey game, and we know that. So it's all part of the bigger plan as far as how we get into other depths of media. But yeah, hope that answers some of it.
Go ahead, Ian.
What are your goals? I know this is a forward question, but what are your goals for the next 5 years with this organization?
Well, being completely upfront, my goals are a 3 to 5 year plan with every new team I go to. I am very much of the more modern mindset where, my parents were all on board with getting into a career, staying at the same place for 30, 40 years. I would get bored with that. I like to conquer something and do it, pass it off so it can live a long life and provide other opportunity for others as it goes. So plan for me is to continue building our team up, make sure that first year, that first game is incredible. We're going to rehearse it. We're going to go through line by line, but then we're going to have 35 other games that we need to get into the rhythm as if we've been doing this for years. So we want to be coasting by game 10. Then the rest of year 1, we want to perfect it. We want to make sure that we convince others that this is good and we're putting a good product out there. Year 2 is fine-tuning it. Year 3 is preparing it to pass off to the next generation. And then if it's upper management for me with the same team, that's wonderful, something I'm very excited to get to if that's the goal. If not, then, like I shared, this is a new career for me too. I'm year 4, year 5 in this career. So I'd like to get back to the NHL in a more prominent kind of a role than I was with the Lightning.
But you know what that tells me? If I'm sitting here in this audience and he just told you my plan is 3 to 5 years. So if you learn with Bryan for a year or 2, what does that mean you could do? Then you could be the guy in charge. Like, that's the way I look at it.
Yeah.
Like when someone
Absolutely.
like yourself says something like that.
Yeah, and look, these, I think especially in this area, right? So in Orlando, there's 2 hockey teams. There's the Tampa Bay Lightning and the Orlando Solar Bears. So if you love hockey and you want to work in hockey, you're probably going to stay with those teams for a longer time, especially if you have a family, you have roots. My wife and I don't have no kids or anything, so we don't have any roots to keep in mind. So for me, even at your level, your first job in minor league sports, I don't think it's fair to say you should be looking for a long-term commitment there. It should be still a part of your learning process. 18 months to 2 years is what I ask of my interns, only because I don't want them to think that we're taking advantage of them or that I'm taking advantage of them, but I want them to understand that the goal is to get in and learn and then go run a camera for the Flyers, for the Eagles, for the Sixers, for the Rangers, for the Devils, etc. Because that's where you make, I mean, cam ops in the NFL, they make a pretty penny, per weekend. When I was between jobs, I interviewed for music director for the Denver Broncos. Really exciting opportunity. It was only 8 weekends a year. Some really fantastic money, but it would have limited some other things. But, that's where the money is in the top leagues. They budget for that. They have the money for that. Every NHL season, as soon as it starts, every team is cut a big fat check from TV rights, and then they can do what they want with that. Some teams like the Lightning, they spend it on their presentation. They pay their people really well. They put their heart and soul into the whole thing. Some teams need arena upgrades or different things like that, and they, all do their own thing. But that's where the big money is. The minor league is really where you want to put an 18-month to 2-year thing on there until you continue to move up and get to a place where you can do a long-term, livable wage.
Okay. All right. We'll go right here, Alex.
So with this brand new team, how do you plan to make some new rituals and traditions for the Ironhawks to enhance the fan experience?
Great question. So I'll talk about Savannah when I started in Savannah. And we were the Savannah Ghost Pirates, really an incredible name. The logo, if you've seen it, is really fantastic. We had a fairly popular baseball team in Savannah that everybody loves and everybody goes to see for now. And we knew the entertainment had to be high. We knew that every single thing that we did, we weren't going to do players in, kilts and flaming hockey sticks, and we weren't going to have hockey players on stilts or any of that other kind of stuff. But we knew that we had to have NHL level experience. So what comes with that is having you want to steer people right from the beginning to let them know that we want your interaction in this and that. The other side is letting the fans create their own rituals and create their own things that they want to put together. So at Savannah, again, I was working at the Lightning. I had an hour and 20-minute ride each way from Orlando to Tampa. Obviously a lot of time to think about what I want to do, what I want to see, the kind of things that would be cool. So in Tampa, they have the Thunder kid that comes out before the game. He's got a light up hockey stick, and he goes and skates around the ice to AC/DC Thunderstruck. It's really a great moment. I get goosebumps thinking about it. The screens are lit up with blue flames and the whole nine. We got to do that. We got to figure something out. But we're in Savannah, Georgia, and there's no hockey programs there, so I don't even have kids that can go on the ice, but we're Pirates. So maybe I'll get a couple of cannon props and a flagpole. Before the game, we'll put the flagpole on the activation deck, and we'll have that kid hoist the flag at the front of the ship. And the whole crowd is, hoist that flag, hoist that flag. And now you don't even have to prompt them to start. They know that it's their time to do that. So on the other side, Let's Go Ghost Pirates doesn't roll off the tongue for a chant. We just decided not to even steer with graphics or anything, and the fans adopted Let's Go Pirates, which we didn't really want because we didn't want them to just be synonymous with Pirates alone. So I think to answer your question, you could steer some things, but you have to let the fans kind of take it on for themselves because that's how things really last, and you can't force it. It's more natural, I think, when fans do it.
It's a good point. It's a really good point. Right here.
You said that you're doing over $4 million in renovations to the arena.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what those renovations are, and how are you guys make it feel unique compared to the others?
Yeah, for sure. So some of the renovations were necessary for hockey, for professional hockey. So we have a new ice compressor, so our ice quality is going to be up to professional standard. We have new dasher system, new glass, which is, again, it's all original stuff from 1999 that was put in there. So we got approved for the general manager, Fran, tells me all the time that they got approved. They got the funding for the scoreboard. So that new center hung scoreboard is going to really change the dynamic of that building, just because it's going to be a little more modern, not as many tiers and the flat graphics on there and things like that. Suite level is going to be upgraded. The concourse, I think, will evolve. That might not be a year one thing, but I think as we continue to grow and we adopt an identity, that some other things will come around with it. But a lot of it was necessary for us to host professional hockey. So, the things that I shared as far as the hockey-centric stuff.
How many home games?
36 home games.
36.
In the regular season, and then another potentially 16 in the playoffs. So we want to play till late June. We want to play.
And
We
the
got to get
season,
Bob a
we
ring.
say coming this October.
October. Yep. October 24th.
Do you know the schedule yet?
We don't. We should be having. We should get our first draft next week, and then they'll start releasing it. Hopefully at the end of April.
And when will you name an affiliation with a team?
So that's as of this morning. That's creeping up real close. We're down to 2 teams that we'll be affiliated with. It's a delicate situation, the affiliation, because when it's announced, you really celebrate, who it is, and it's your NHL big brother and this and that. But one of the issues that the Trenton team had was rebranding themselves as the Trenton Devils, and what it did was told all the Flyer fans in here, would you put a jersey on that said Trenton? Maybe. Would you put a jersey on that said Trenton and had a New Jersey Devils logo right here? Not a shot in hell. No way. So you have to kind of be delicate how you're introducing your affiliate, especially in such a hockey-rich area. But we're still excited about it. We're still going to pull it off. We're still going to give it its due diligence. But we also have an opportunity to spotlight 4 professional hockey teams within a 90-mile radius of us, and we plan on doing that.
They cannot be the Philadelphia Flyers, by the way.
It will not be the Flyers because of the strength of affiliation with Reading, which is a very important thing for us as well.
Just so clear the air on
Won't be
that.
the Flyers.
Won't be the Flyers.
No.
All right.
And it won't be the Devils either.
Irons.
All right, so what is your preparation for game presentation look like? Do you guys have a script? How many days before a game do you guys prepare?
Yeah.
Talk about that.
So, game presentation isn't just about the fun games, it's about the sponsorship fulfillment. That's probably the biggest thing that I've learned in the last 4 years over the course of my growing in this position. When I went into Savannah, it was game, experience. But the other side, and the side that paid my salary and the rest of the bills, was satisfying the sponsored element. So a lot of those kind of things, they're the same game over, from one game to the next. A lot of those things you want to keep in the same place every game. In radio, we called it appointment listening. But when somebody knows that the kiss cam's on, then they know, it's the middle of the second period because there's the kiss cam. So you want to kind of have some familiarity in that respect. So some of those things get placed well in advance. Once we set our schedule, set our promo nights and things like that, let me back up real quick. That will be our regular game. Those sponsored promotions, the sponsored things, the intro, the pregame show, those will be our regular things that'll go game to game. We did 8-bit video game night, retro game night in Savannah, and the entire building looked and felt like an arcade. Didn't play any music that was after 1985. Didn't play any music that was an 8-bit. The team came out to Metallica, For Whom the Bell Tolls, and we played an 8-bit version of that song. The font on the scoreboard was the same font that was on the old Pac-Man games. So we did everything we could to make that kind of experience. And then, because I'm the older statesman and I had a video of myself in 1989 playing Super Mario on a Nintendo, we just made a couple of simple graphics slides that just were cheat codes. The blood code from Mortal Kombat on Sega Genesis, or the Contra code for original NES, just to put it up there. It's just there in a whistle. It kind of paints the picture. It makes people warm fuzzy. It shows that you're putting the effort in, and you're not just saying, here's Star Wars night, and once or twice, and you play the Star Wars theme, and maybe the the Imperial March for the opponents. You want to do more than that. So a lot of the preparation for the theme nights comes into that play. Those preparations will start this summer. If I can be completely honest with you, the script for that night's game doesn't seal until probably about 1 o'clock that afternoon is when I'll seal that script for that night. It's a fast turnaround. But I'm also always going to try to take, if I have an hour, then how can I make something a little bit better? Or how can I add something in? And even if you don't use it, the one thing about game presentation that I learned from my radio time, and this is another John Franzone thing, luck favors the prepared. So if you're prepared with a plethora of content, you're going to have plenty to go by. You're going to be able to rank it, make sure your best stuff gets out there. But you have to be prepared to throw 75% of it away because you just didn't get to it, or because you just didn't have time for it, or it just didn't fit in the right moment. You just want it to feel natural. And the best way to do that is to be over-prepared with content and things like that, and then just kind of sprinkle it into place. I'm probably a unique bird like that. I still have a lot of the old radio kind of things, which before, when it was live, you had to be over prepared. I did a 4-hour talk show every day, so we had to have 20 to 30 subjects to get to, and we would have 4 topics a game, or 4 topics a show. We
Yeah,
were
but you have to
for
be
that
ready
much.
because let's say the glass breaks and you know
Yeah.
there's a 15-minute delay there. You got to keep them entertained somehow, right?
Absolutely.
So you never know. It's the same thing as a broadcaster. I say all the time, broadcasters, you're going to prepare to do a game.
Yeah.
You're probably going to get to maybe 20%, if that, on your board,
Yep.
and the rest you just it's up here, but you never get to it.
And you can stock it for another time, or the same things we did with the cheat codes when we did. I'm trying to think of another theme. That Vegas Golden Knights was our affiliate in Savannah, so we did Golden Ghosts Takeover. So we had just graphics of just shots from the Stanley Cup Final of the player holding this up, or the big save, or different things like that. Just any kind of content that we could put up there, just to continue to feed into the brand and not look like, oh well, they ran out of anything. You never want to look like you ran out of anything. You want to look like you're calculated and prepared for the whole thing.
All right, Sam, go ahead.
Talked about earlier in talk here how you want to be Jersey in your elements. What kind of elements of Jersey are you looking for?
So I'm gonna say radio again and what influences me, but music and sports are like this so much more than anybody gives any credit to. If I could say one thing, if you're interested in music and you have an interest in music, game DJs and audio directors and music directors is the new title in pro sports. I never thought that I'd interview for music director of a team, of an NFL team, but they paid really well for 8 weekends, a livable wage for 8 weekends. But that was not something that was heard of. A lot of minor league teams are, putting an intern in or doing different things like that. But music and game audio and stuff like that is such a big part with the rap that the NBA is the live mixed music show with a basketball game going on. There's loops that are going on. There's sound effects that are going on. There's so much more happening than just the game. So the reason I'm bringing that up is because music and Jersey go really tight together, especially rock music and even hip hop music. All music is synonymous with this state, I think. So one of the things that I'm interested in doing is marrying music and sports together. I don't know that I want to have an organist. Maybe I'll have a solo guitarist playing, Let's Go Ironhawks on the guitar with the riff, or something like that. That's just really kind of scratching the surface. If I could be completely honest with you, my role with our team is more than just game presentation. So I'm kind of putting some blinders on to take care of the things we have to. But in the next probably month to 6 weeks, we'll start building a game experience, and it's as much me disciplining myself as anything else.
Yeah,
So.
weren't you Bob's first hire?
Yeah.
Technically,
Mhm.
right? So the owner's first hire was Bryan. So yes, he's doing a lot more than the marketing, game presentation. You're involved. Your operation. You're involved in
operations, community, game presentation, obviously. Just the whole thing, and corporate sponsorships.
Yeah.
That's the other side of it that I want to make sure to stress to you. We're production people in here, right? We're media people. The sales and the money, that's not what interests us. We don't want to go knocking on doors and selling tickets and all that other kind of stuff. If you are able to understand the sales process at this phase of your career, it will help your job regardless of what your role is. That first year, remember I said in Savannah, I was just like, it's all about the game, it's all about the game, it's all about the game. When I was in radio, one of the things that made me successful in radio was I would create a bit and then I would show the salesperson, this is how we sell it. This is what they'll get. It's not commercials, it's not this, it's we're going to be doing this, and they're going to be able to get a plug here. They're going to be able to insert their brand here. They're going to be able to provide, if it's a car dealership, they're going to be able to provide a car, and they'll have their banner on it, and all the pictures we take will have that on there, all the collateral, etc. So I leaned into that in Savannah and realized that ultimately I want to do the things I want to do. Salespeople are always, and if there's anybody that's sales-minded, forgive me for saying this, but salespeople are always going to flex that they can do what you do, and they can't. They can be creative. Anybody could be creative, but to understand it at the magnitude that we understand it on, the production and the creation of elements, they don't understand the depth of it. So if you can understand them, you can help them. It's not only going to help you people-to-people relationships, but it's also going to help you understand that, you probably can sell corporate sponsorships, because as Bob told me, nobody knows our inventory better than I do, because I'm the one that's writing it. And we have 120 different game elements right now that we're ready to go to sponsors with, and I'm chomping at the bit to go talk to jewelry stores about Kiss Cam or any other number of kind of businesses like that. So
Have you started going to the community and reaching out about being sponsors? Or did that start?
Yeah, actually, Neil, I'm really proud to say that the first contract on the Ironhawks bill was for a printer. I traded a printer for the copy cam. So, like, the first whistle, first media timeout in all of our games, you've probably seen it. It's nothing new. Another thing is that you don't be too proud to take another idea. There's very little, it's not that there's little originality, but the little things that you can add to it are what sets it apart. You see, like, you do a side-by-side, you got a live shot of a kid on one, and then you put an emoji face on the other. And he's just copying it. It's copy cam, brought to you by a copy place, and they gave us a $10,000 printer, so we don't have to pay for that. So it all worked. I got us a printer, and we didn't have to pay for it, and I got some content for the in-show, and it worked out well. I think you're laughing. I think he's laughing. You're laughing.
That's pretty good. I give you credit for that. All right, Jenna.
When it comes to the new video board that you're getting with the renovations,
Yeah.
are you gonna have like the broadcast feed in there, or will you have your own like separate control room for your in-game presentation people?
So ECHL is a small league, so we're a third league down. It's not a small league, I shouldn't say that. It's a minor league. Our operating budget is small. A lot of our arenas are small, so control rooms aren't really in abundance, and to bring a truck in for every game for live broadcast, it's not really conducive for success in our league. So we produce a feed that goes to Flow Sports, and basically we just mirror what we're showing. We shoot the game for the screen. We mirror that onto the Flow Sports feed. Now, we may have some TV games this year, and we'll have to bring a truck in. We did the All-Star game in Savannah. We had to bring a truck in. We had 8 cameras running around the venue. It was pretty awesome. But it is typical for us to just shoot the game for in-house and then share it to Flow Sports. Because again, it's also a subscription model and the viewership is around 100 per game, if I could be honest. But our model as a team is not for the stream or the watch live at home. Our business model is to be in the arena and experience it real time.
Okay, right here.
You previously mentioned that you worked for the Raptors.
Mhm.
I was just curious what that experience was like.
It was pretty awesome, man. MLSE, Maple Leaf Sports and Entertainment, who owns the Raptors and the Toronto Maple Leafs, they are world class. They do things right, top to bottom. One of the things that impressed me, I don't want to say impress, because I come from a family of really strong women, so knowing that women can do anything a man can do is very much there. But the women who directed the game for the Raptors and their senior director of game presentation were both like really badass women that had full control of their crew and had the respect of the room, and they really dictated a really killer show and a killer experience. It was a little weird because some of their game elements didn't replicate to Tampa, Florida, let alone America as a whole. So there was a little bit of buffer the first 5 or 6 games, just finding the things that worked. But again, we only had 3,800 people in the arena in a 20,000 seat venue. So it was the whole COVID and being in a venue that was empty, for lack of a better term. That was a pretty wild experience. It was very humbling and helped you understand, how important and necessary fans are, because we put the same game presentation effort into an empty arena for the players and for people to absorb at home. But you just realize that no, the players can play without all this. The players just want some hype music to go around, and they want to hear their goal song and the horn when they score and the different things like that. But you realize that the presentation and the production is all about the fans. That was the biggest takeaway from that, and then equally for the Raptors too.
All right. Next question. Who's got one? Right here, Kate.
So you're talking a lot about jobs and roles and stuff throughout the course of this interview. I want to know, what do you generally look for in a good intern, good worker in your eye? What kind of qualities do you look for in a person?
Yeah, great question. Open-mindedness, flexibility, competitive edge. I know I talked about entitlements, and that goes to the jobs as well. You have to understand this, and this is the step back that I always am nervous to say on a campus or in front of young people just in general, but you are looking for a job in sports, undoubtedly. So are the two people sitting next to you on either side. So are the rest of the people in this row and the row behind you in this entire room. Is there another class, another like curriculum, or is this everybody in the program right now?
No, this is not, no. We
Okay.
have close to 500.
So you have all these other people that are also there. Then you have to understand that this is just one university in this area, let alone in this state, et cetera, et cetera. Then you have to understand that there's people who were interns and they're all competing for those jobs. So ultimately, a competitive edge, a willingness to learn and understand that it is a living thing. This isn't there's two kind of careers in this world, in my estimation. There is definitive and discretionary. If you want a definitive job, grocery stores are great for that. There is only one way to put the can on the shelf and turn the label to point out. That's the job. A discretionary job, and I'm not saying that we're lawyers or doctors, but we have to make decisions on the fly. Those decisions are going to change if you're in baseball due to the weather. Those decisions are going to change due to a pandemic. There could be a malfunction with the ice system or with the glass system at a hockey game, and you get delayed. Like Neil was saying, you get delayed 30 minutes, and what are you going to do there? So you have to be open-minded to continue to learn. Understand that what you learn today could be different from what you learn tomorrow. There's also an element of the culinary art school effect, where you go to culinary art school and you learn how to cook. And then you go to a restaurant, what's the first thing that they do? They teach you how to cook. So understanding that you're learning the core skills for success now, applying those to the venue that you're going to or the team you're going to is as important as displaying what you've learned in school so far. So I know that's probably not like a straight ahead answer. I don't know that there is. Luck favors the prepared. If you're there and you're there for the right moment, and our internships are kind of strange right now because we are in a build phase. We don't have games that we're playing. We don't have our season schedule yet, so we can't even go out and start attacking individual game tickets or anything like that. So there's some days where our interns are just sitting there and, what do you got for us to do? Let's find where the little leagues are, and let's see where their opening day is, and then let's go out there for the community, and just be there for them. So, but they're there. They're in the room, so that when something comes up and we need it, they're ready to take advantage of it and continue to go. So again, that's probably a little bit frantic of an answer. I think I'm trying to find the perfect answer to that question, but I think flexibility, willingness to continue learning, knowing the sport or loving the sport is not enough to succeed in working in sports. I think it's fair to say that. Just because you have a passion for hockey doesn't mean that there's a career in hockey for you. A lot of people have trouble going from the supporter to support. I grew up loving hockey. I grew up watching hockey. My dad worked in hockey. I haven't cared about who wins an NHL game in probably 6 years, but I still love watching them. I don't care who wins it because I care more about sharing my love of the sport with others. And that's another part of it that I think is important to mention. That being a fan is not enough to get there. You have to do the other things because somebody else wants my job. There's probably dozens and dozens. I know there's dozens and dozens of people that want my job. So I have to continue to learn and grow and continue to keep my job by continuing to perform, understanding the current landscape and stuff like that.
So let's look at, as we approach October and the start of the ECHL season and the Ironhawks season, what does that front office directory look like? What kind of roles will you have? Part-time, full-time, intern, when the season is approaching and you
Right.
need this full staff.
Right. So full-time jobs in minor league sports are predominantly revenue generating, and that's why I share with you to understand the sales process. Once we get to season, we'll have, if we have 15 people on our staff, 11 of them will be sales related, whether it's ticketing, whether it's sponsorships, whether it's customer service, etc. There will be a couple graphic designers, a couple marketing roles, maybe a community role that kind of overlooks our kids club and different kind of things like that. Part-time game nights, those are our production roles. So on our production crew, we'll have switcher, 3 to 4 cam set, we'll have replay, we'll have graphics key. I'm this close to getting another really cool toy for us to have another platform that is in the bigger buildings, which will provide another opportunity for somebody to sit at that position. So we'll have 10 to 12 on our game night production crew. Off-ice officials is another 10 to 12 people. We'll have a hype crew or floor runners and different, stage managers. There's a lot. Like, I'm realizing now that there's a lot of people we need to find. I really need to get to my budget and my outline so I can start filling all these things. But it's a robust. I mean, it's a cast of people that are all on the same page to deliver an equally exciting experience.
Well, you have 75 people in this room.
I know that.
There will be, more than happy to help fill some of those positions.
I know it.
So how will you, and I'm sure they're going to have questions for you individually after we're done talking here, but how will you handle the internship process going forward, again, as you get closer to the season?
So Bob is very fond of hiring from our internship. So it's a little bit of a de facto kind of test trial period, I think it's fair to say. It's also important that you find an opportunity that's right for you. Like, just because someone offers you a job, it may not be the right one for you. And if you don't feel like it's right, you don't have to take that job. The right thing will come for you if you have the patience to get there. And you might be the kind of person that fights through things, and then that opportunity is right for you. So you got to make sure you find the opportunity that's right for you. Like I said, Bob loves hiring from within, from our internship. We'll have internships that are posted for the in-season next year. We'll probably put that up here in the next month or so. I just finally got to our summer internship closed out, so I think some of you in here might actually be on there as well. But we'll go to interns, and then for some of the game night roles, as far as the production and stuff like that, because that's really a specialized role where there's folks that really that have skills. And just to back up, like the company that I used to work for, they just thought interns could do what we do, and they can't just do what we do. It takes a really specialized kind of person to, anybody can hold the camera, but not anybody can hold the camera and get the shot. Like, y'all watch the Super Bowl, I'm sure, right? I was in tears at the last note of the national anthem when that cameraman got the shot of Charlie, right? Who was singing the anthem? Of Charlie, was it Charlie Day? No. What's the guy's name? Whoever it was that was singing.
Charlie Puth?
Yes, Charlie Puth, yeah. He got the shot of Charlie hitting that last note. In one motion, he got that flyover and then came right back down to Charlie. Like, go back and Google it. It was the most amazing live shot. Not anybody can do that. Like, you have to have understanding of production, of what you're seeing through the lens and how it replicates onto a screen that everybody is watching. Because of that, I decided that we should have standalone interns that we call them apprentices, that are production apprentices. They're creative roles. They're not hiring an intern because he can't run a camera. So I don't want to not hire somebody if they don't want to make a sales call. And again, I'm very adamant, learn the sales process if you have the opportunity to. But I'm not going to hold it against somebody who's super creative on the graphic design side if they're not interested in picking up the phone and making a sales call. There's room for everybody to learn and grow within the team. So, forgot where I was going with that.
No, but again, I think it's important to emphasize in minor league sports, and our students, again, know because the number of them in this room have worked for a number of the different teams in the area. And for pro teams, we have a lot of people. We have like 30 people with the Phillies last year.
Yeah.
Anna right there is with the Phillies. I mean, Jen's right here at Philly. I mean, I look around, there are Phillies people all over the place.
Yeah.
But you have to be able to do a number of tasks.
Right.
And
Right.
I'm sure that's what you're looking for. And by the way, when you have someone do a task that they weren't necessarily assigned to do,
Right.
and then all of a sudden they like it and they do it really well, now how do you figure that out?
That's the dream. That's the passion that that I was looking for them to find, and then they took it on their own. So, yeah, obviously, in this respect, I think as far as the game night roles, we are looking for, especially within the apprenticeship, we are looking for someone that is ready to come in, and hockey's a fast game. So, but not just saying, hey, go shoot this game, but, hey, let's pull out on that shot. If we're tight on the puck, then we're going to lose the puck. It's going to be a frantic shot. We can alleviate that by just pulling out a little bit. We don't have to go so tight in the corners. We can go tight after a goal or this or that, and helping to share what exactly we're looking for. But on game night roles, those are super hyper focused. When you get to full-time, part-time roles with the team, that's where you're asked to wear many different hats and create different things. But there is a place for you to learn just what it is that you want to build on, at least with our team. I can't speak for every minor league team, but in Savannah, it was the same way. I wasn't going to not take a kid on. I mean, there was a kid that was just, he still takes the best pictures I've ever seen, the best photos I've ever seen. And the ownership wanted to, or the management wanted to pass on him as an intern because he wasn't interested in marketing or he wasn't interested in the community side. But he takes these beautiful pictures. Like, we didn't not hire this person because, I mean, we hired this person, but he can't take a picture at all. And we didn't not hire him because he can't do some of it. So why are we gonna, you gotta have a tough skin. People are always gonna look down on us in production. They're gonna think anybody can do what we do. Not anybody can do what we do. That's the fact of the matter. But there are people that understand that. And look, even if you get in with one of these people that don't understand what we do, it's even more of an opportunity to learn because they're probably gonna just say, yeah, go ahead, you know what you're doing. You know how the switcher works, right? All right, cool. You do it. And then they'll yell at you when something doesn't go right, but they don't know how the hell it works or how to fix it or anything. So,
Well, I'm sure that when we're done here, got a little bit of an announcement here, but when we're done, I'm sure a lot of students are going to want to talk to you. Let's thank Bryan for being here today.